Covalent bonds or covalent bonding is the real deal when it comes to organic chemistry. Organic chemistry is the study of carbon molecules or carbon compounds, but the word compound is not possible without attaching these atoms to each other. So covalent bonding is so important because it depends on what we call valence electrons, which we will review shortly. And it is present in a molecule as small as methane, which is carbon and 4 atoms of hydrogen, all the way to DNA, which is the largest molecule, perhaps also the most important molecule. Now, before we delve into chemical bonding and covalent bonding, we would like to talk about valence electrons. And remember, this is only a review of general chemistry concepts. Valence electrons are electrons on the outermost energy shell or level, energy level. So they're the ones capable of bonding because they're on the outside. So if you have an atom here and you have another atom there, we're not going to reach for the electrons in the middle to bond, okay? We're going to reach for electrons on the outside. Because they repel each other, etc. But all we need from valence electrons now is to look up the number of valence electrons for a given atom. And it's easy to do if you recall from Gen Chem. From Gen Chem, all you had to do is look at the group number, and that gives you the number of valence electrons. So lithium is in group 1, it has 1. Hydrogen is above it, so it also has 1 valence electron. Then beryllium has 2, because it's 2 right here. And then you go all the way to boron, which has 3, carbon has 4, nitrogen is 5, oxygen is 6, 7, and then 8, all the way to the noble gases. So it is imperative that we look up this number really quick. Now, let me show you that on a real periodic table. So if you look at the periodic table here, again, this area right here that I'm highlighting, this is group 1. So that's 1. This is group 2. So that's 2. And then you jump all the way to, use a different color here. So this would be 3. I'm just going to use this 3. This would be 4, 5, 6, 7. And of course, when it comes to the last one, the noble gases, 8 is neon and below, right here. Why? So because the number is right there. So that's 8. But helium only has 2 valence electrons, if you recall, because it has only a 1 energy level. In this case, it's just the 1 right here. So, but aside from that, all we have to do is look up this number. So if I am in class and I need to look up the number of valence electrons for phosphorus, well, it says 5 here, or Roman numeral. So it would be 5 valence electrons. And so on and so forth. The main ones we're dealing with is carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, of course, and the halogens right here. And of course, in addition to hydrogen. So these are the critical ones. Now let's go back to covalent bonding really, really quick. What is covalent bonding? Covalent bonding, there's a key word here that we need to add, right? Is that it is a 2-electron bond. So you have 2 electrons. Here's 1. There's another one. But there's a key word that we have to say, right? These 2 electrons are shared between the 2 atoms. And if you look here, you see the example of hydrogen with one valence electron, another hydrogen with one valence electron. And hydrogen wants to be like helium to fill its kind of like version of the what we call the octet rule. It wants to become like helium. So what happens is that it shares an electron with another hydrogen with its own electrons, and they form this bond right there. So now the way to read this is that this hydrogen has two valence electrons and that hydrogen has two valence electrons. But we only have two. So how can we have two and two? Well, the key word is that they double count. The electrons double count. So the electron pair double counts. Think of it this way. There's a, let's say, a mother and a father, or two parents, and they have two children. The mother is going to say, when asked, how many children do you have? The mother is going to say, I have two children. The father, when asked, how many children do you have? The father is going to say, also two children. But there's only there are only two children. So if you notice here, the children are shared, right, between the mother and the father. That's the kind of sharing we are talking about in covalent bonding when it comes to an electron pair, is that it counts toward both. And that is a very critical concept to remember.